Chris Level here with another edition of Pirate Talk. Colton Coons behind the camera and my man Chip Darden, as always, to my left. Not sure where to start, folks. Big game last Friday night there at Lucas Lovejoy, and the Leopards go down in a shootout. And I know you were get home late, you're mentally exhausted, but you are probably feeling pretty good about just the way your team played in the opener. I'm sure not perfect, but man, you will take a result anytime.
Ride home would have been totally different, I think, had the result not been that. It was a late early morning. Most of us, I think, got to bed about 7 a.m. But yeah, when you win like that, it makes it all right. So I was proud of how our guys handled that. There's just usually time to. Usually your first long road trip, you've made a few road trips before. You've made maybe a couple short ones, and you kind of understand the process of the bus and kind of what we're doing. I mean, for that to be our first one, I was proud of how our guys handled it. And then things like we had a walk through and it gets lightning out, which wasn't a terrible thing. We got what we needed in. And anyway, just a lot of stuff that the guys had to handle, and they handled it well.
How was with a lot that went on with this game, but just as you had several days to kind of process it, how was just the overall experience for Lubbock Cooper football? Not just Chip Darden's experience, but just the overall experience.
Yeah, first of all, Lovejoy was so accommodating all week leading up to it. Coach Dodge, they just made sure that we had everything, made sure that it was all organized, and gave us 2 different locker rooms to where we could, not be jammed in one locker room. And so couldn't be, that part of the experience was great. And then I just think it was a playoff feel. It felt, I told Coach Winchy earlier, saw him, and he was part of that team that played in Stephenville in 2014 that was on ESPN2. And it felt like that. And both of those, they just felt like they don't feel like a non-district game. It feels playoff. The atmosphere, there's even when you get to the stadium and there's nobody there yet, there's still a buzz about the game. And for our kids, I think it was really neat. The camera set up just like you see at the college games. Bally's had all their stuff set up, and just all that made it feel bigger. And so to me, that's, you worry as a coach. You got all that going on. How are we going to handle it? And so proud of the fact that we did.
Yeah, those cameras and just long trip, I mean, those are distractions.
Yeah.
That's what, coaches worry about, is like we need to eliminate those, not add to it. But
Absolutely.
There was about as many possible here. Fair to say that your team kind of, after initially coming out of the gates just with a bit of a hiccup, from then on, you kind of control this game. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. It goes back to situations and like your guys, you try to put them in situations in camp and in practices, but until you're really in them, you don't know how they're going to handle them. But, so to me, things I looked at was, one, we didn't start well. I think a lot of that was overhyped. We were a little too fired up. We needed to settle down a little bit. Once we did, I thought the Ryan Rodriguez to Deaver touchdown on 4th down, we were really excited then, but then we all settled down. It was like, okay, the adrenaline's worn off. Now let's play football. I think from that point on, we played really well. And then I was just proud of, especially coming out of half, we've got an 11-point lead at half. They go right down and score pretty quick. I think some teams might have gotten that big eye and went, oh dang, here we go. And ours just kept playing. We just kept executing. Got stops when we need them. Got 2 huge stops there in the 4th quarter. And anyway, just it wasn't too big for them. And they handled every punch that Lovejoy, threw back at us. We handled it and kept playing. And ultimately, I think that's why we ended up on top.
Did you expect to be in a shootout?
I didn't.
Because that's what you were in.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought both of our styles were similar. I thought wanting to run the ball, and honestly, that's what we kind of, Coach Reed and his staff said, we're gonna try to make them run the ball a little bit. They were so talented at receiver and quarterback, and credit to Coach Dodge and his staff. The second half, that's what they did. They saw how we were a light box, and we were covering pretty well. So they ran the ball, and good coaches will do that. But no, I was hoping for a game in the 20s or 30s, and I think I said on this last week, if the game's in the 40s, we're probably on the wrong end of it, but I was wrong there.
I was about to point that out. Yeah, you were wrong, but you've never been more glad to be wrong.
That's right.
In that sense.
But I think it goes down to we mentioned this before too, that we hope to be able to play in any type of game. We hope if we need to win a game 7-6, let's go win the game 7-6. And if it needs to be 46-43, we'll do it in any way that we can. And I think we've got a team that can do that.
Yeah, versatility is king, man. You got to be a bit of a chameleon at times. Michael Deaver is no longer a secret. I think you had the best receiver on the field, and the other young man to wear number 11, Dalen McCutcheon, committed to Florida State. He's got offers from I don't know, most of the country, but I think your guy put on a show. I want to talk about the kick return, though. You go to it right out of the gate. You clearly either saw something, but then mishandled snap or handoff or whatever it is, but then take me through going to it again.
First of all, McCutcheon may not be committed to Florida State anymore after their start. He may rethink things. That's a different topic.
It's a different podcast, folks.
That's
yeah.
correct. No, so obviously that's not how you want to start a game, and that's what again, proud of our guys. I mean, opening kickoff, we fumble, so we start on our own 10 or 11 yard line, and just not how you want your season to start. But so a few kicks, we didn't do that. We didn't have that call on, and then we just decided once we had settled in that we could execute it. Thought it looked good. Our coaches in the press box did a great job, and we've got now UIL changed the rule. We can look at film up in the press box. Can't do it on field, but we can do it in the press box. So our guys are looking at it saying, Coach, it was there. If we just execute that, he might have scored. And so we went back to it. And then, there's a lot of factors in that. Thought we had some good individuals blocking. Blake Moore and Deuce Johnson had great blocks on that return. I think Garrett Kitten had a solid one on the far side. And then ultimately, to me, one of the best players on the field, maybe the best player on the field, made a play, and he made some guys miss, and that pretty exciting, And on that, the thing the press box is yelling the whole time is no flags, we're clean, no flags, we're clean, because it always seems like there's one
on returns, no doubt. There's always like a subtle hold on. Yeah, quarterback played well. Ryan Rodriguez, not a shock there. Jackson Austin ran it well, but yeah, Deaver. It's just like he's going to start to do some of these things, and people are going to try to adjust accordingly. But you've got some other weapons as well. Defensively, I don't want to bury the lead here, so we need to talk about. I mean, I don't know if it was the biggest play in the game, but was at the top of importance. Cale Kirk with the strip, Jackson Sewell. Recovered it, and that's when the game is still in the balance, and you're in this shootout portion of things. Yep,
and I think that's what was impressive with our defense. Second half, we got tired, and they made some adjustments that we had to try to quickly make adjustments as well. And their offense was really good in the second half, and so I think it would have been easy for our defense to kind of here we go again, but. Kept playing hard, and Cale said it the best in his post-game interview with Bally's. They kind of asked him about it, and he said, I got in my coverage, and then I sprinted to the football, and that's what we do. We sprint to the football, and so that was a great when that works out, like we tell them, you're going to sprint to the football even though you might not make the play. You might not get there, but that's what we're going to do. And then when you get rewarded by making the play, same with Jackson Sewell, and that's pretty awesome. But I thought Cale played great all game. I thought our defensive line played great the entire game. First half, thought we really had their quarterback rattled, getting rid of the ball quick, and I think a lot of that just had to do with the pass rush. And so we give out a game changer award every week, and it's really good when there's kind of some argument on what the game changer is, because I think Deaver's kick return was in the mix. Cub on the fake punt. We faked a punt on our own 27-yard line up 11 in the fourth quarter. It's not a normal place to fake a punt, but it's kind of.
Is he crazy? No, he's just he's trying to win a football game.
And we got a lot of faith in that punter. We got a lot of faith in Cub Patton that's been through it, and trust them to make a good decision. So anyway, a lot of those, but we said that Kale and Jackson get the game changer because that was the play of the game kind of.
That's awesome.
And we play the possession game too. We want to run clock in those situations, and sometimes it may seem conservative, but we also trying to not give them the ball back with much time, and thought we did that pretty well.
Yeah, there's only so many possessions in a football game.
Yep.
And the clock can either help you or hurt you, depending on how you play it. Cole Stanzione, wanted to mention that too, and Kyler McDowell, 6 tackles each. Our man Sione Veo with a sack.
Yep.
Which that won't be the last time we mention that. He just very consistent, a machine, just like Cole Stanzione with those tackles at the linebacker spot. As you look at, you come back from that win and then you start getting ready for an in-town opponent and one that everybody's familiar with. What's the message to your guys this week?
Yeah, I hope I'm not beating a dead horse on this, but we try to always talk about down the road, especially in non-district games. What are we prepping for? Like, we want to win every game we line up. We're competitive, but there's also a bigger picture to it. And for us, we hope to be in the mix to make the playoffs. And then so you hope then that some of the stuff you do in non-district helps you for playoffs. So the message this week has been, one, we want to validate the win that we had. And we want to show that, hey, we didn't just prep for Lovejoy. We didn't just get up for this game, that we think we're a good football team. But number two, it's prep for playoffs. You have to have a turnaround 5 times in the playoffs if you want to win a state championship of playing your absolute best football. You might get in real late. You might not have much prep time. You got to turn around Monday and get ready for the next one, and you can't have a letdown, because if you do, then you're turning your stuff in. And so that's been the message this week is that's what this is like. This is like a playoff turnaround. And, so far I think our kids have really handled this week well.
Andrew Roy takes over at Coronado. He's been their defensive coordinator for I don't remember how many years, but they've always been really good on that side of the ball. But whenever you're playing somebody here in town, there's some familiarity there.
Yeah.
You played them last year, and they've been in your district and all those things. And there's kids that know each other on both sides. What's this version of Coronado like? Even though it's a small sample size.
Yeah, Coach Roy does a really good job, and we've seen it with his defenses the last several years since he's been there. I think maybe 3 years he was a defense coordinator. Okay. They've played really good defense, and I think that is obviously not going to change. And I think they've schemed us very well. Like that's one thing that we've looked at with their defense, that we play them and seem like there's some looks that we didn't expect and things that we didn't know that they would do. And so we're prepping as much as we can for that. But I think our kids are really good at adapting, and so we're going to get some of that. But offensively, they seem really good. They kind of changed on offense. They're running some of the stuff that we have, running some option out of the spread. And quarterback, he didn't play against us last year. He was injured, and him being back, I think, just makes them click. They got a running back that is one of the best running backs in the state, just really talented. And so they're going to be a handful.
What did he rush for over?
It was like 287 or something.
Close to 300.
Game one.
DeMarion Finch.
Yep.
Yeah. Quarterback's name Isaiah Vasquez. Wears number 9. And then I'm a big fan of this kid. I've been up in the Pirate Stadium watching regional track meets and whatever, or pirate relays or whatever, and you and I have watched this kid run. Alan Gant,
Yep.
Wears number 1 for the Mustangs. He'll be kind of all over the field, but he's just really fast, really good DB for them.
He's really good. They're playing him a little bit on offense too. That's always scary. When somebody with that speed, you have to account for him. He's really good on defense. He can play in the box. He can cover man to man. He can do a little bit of everything. And we know Alan. Alan was at school here for a couple months, and so our coach's kids got to know him. He's just a great person. He's a great kid. So our kids will enjoy competing against him. I'm sure he will too. But man, he's talented, and so we've got to know where he is when he's on defense, and then when he's in on offense, we've got to be aware too.
Obviously, kickoff 7 p.m. Friday night, Pirate Stadium at First United Park. We will have this game streamed on the LCISD YouTube channel. It'll also be on 100.7 The Score. The Texas Way, real quickly, go over that. What is that? People are seeing that. It's going to be, I think, presented in the stadium at different times throughout the game. What is that the UIL is trying to promote?
Yeah, so it's a coordinated effort with the UIL, the Texas High School Coaches Association, and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association. They partnered with Two Words Character Development and trying to this initiative basically. Ray Zapata is the athletic director of the UIL. He, going into his first year last year, looked at some ejection numbers from fans, players, coaches, and was very discouraged at how many are getting ejected in games and how many penalties or unsportsmanlike penalties are happening in games. And so really talked about it a lot and thought, talking about it, training coaches, doing some things was going to help it, and ejection numbers went up last year in almost every sport, I believe. And so they decided talk is not going to work. So there's this initiative called the Texas Way that we've posted it on our Sports Use, and we can post again. But there's literature, there's trainings for parents, for athletes, for coaches to go through. And it's about sportsmanship. It's about keeping the games, all of them, not just football, but keeping them all what they're supposed to be, and about community and about teaching kids, life lessons, and not about berating officials and berating the other team and trash talk and all that. And so we're partnering with them. We're going to be a Texas Way school. I think the UIL's goal is for every school to be a part of it. And I really thought our kids, that side of it, were really good at Lovejoy the other night. We had penalties, first game type stuff, but we did not have any late hit, unsportsmanlike conduct, any of those penalties. Our kids handled all that real well.
Yeah, that's what you want. I'm not not shocked there at all, the way that you coach them up. Allsups burritos on the way home. Has it ever tasted any better?
I think I ate that. I ate two I'm getting too old for that, but I ate two Allsups burritos at about 3 a.m. I think.
That is West Texas, is what that is.
And I'm gonna call out Taylor Reed because he was scared to do it. Oh, I don't, my tummy. Come on.
I got one word for you, Taylor. Coach Reed, soft. SAWFT.
But
soft.
I had some. I think Braden Lee, pork as they call him, he had some with me. So we can't beat an Allsups burrito.
No,
man.
Yeah, absolutely
Can't
not.
Beat it.
I had somebody in the office actually on the other side of the building say, "Hey, next time you have Coach Darden here, ask him about crazy words in his playbook. What's the most unique word?" Without giving away what it means, what's the most unique word in your playbook?
Oh, that would be hard to fit. There's one, and it's a football term, but I feel like when we do our women's clinic and we show playbook sometimes,
they're all like,
yeah, naked is one.
Which naked boot and all that just means you're out there by yourself. Everybody goes one way and you're out by yourself. It's typically
we've got one that we got way a long time ago from University of Miami. So it's called the U. So we just we don't know how to name it, so I always name it the U. That's who we got it from.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
You still hold up those placards, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but they're still part of things. What's the most unique picture of all the different pictures because I know some of them have meanings, some of them are just totally random. What's the most?
But there's one rule that when the coaches make them is there has to be one that has Rachel McAdams on there. That's just my wife knows this too. Okay. She's just a great actress.
Absolutely,
she's a great actress.
She was great in Wedding Crashers and other things. Yeah, that's great. Okay,
that's the only rule. There's got to be, but usually there's some. Is there
any?
Ones.
But there's emojis. There's monuments. There's dollar sign. I don't know. But do you have another favorite one? Like another thing that has been?
I will tell you, when we first started this, Max was still the head coach. I think we had a picture of Macy Satterwhite, Dr. Satterwhite. I think we had one of Angie Inkelbarger.
Oh man, did they appreciate this?
I don't know if they ever. I don't know if they ever saw him. Now, Dr. Satterwhite shockingly loved it. She loved being on the card. Love you, Dr. Satterwhite.
That's great. Love you too, Dr. Satterwhite. Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't
love
know
you too, Rachel McAdams.
I don't know that Miss Inkelbarger loved it as much as Dr. Satterwhite did.
I think, she might open up a can on the folks that were responsible.
That was Max's deal.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. No, that's okay. I just was curious because you see this. I mean, they don't do it in the NFL because it's full helmet communication, all those things. But in college and the pros, man, there's people holding stuff up. There's colors. There's,
Yep.
a state, and everybody's got some sort of hidden meaning in it. And it's, but you just never know. But there's some wild stuff that gets put on these things.
No doubt.
And it's completely random, So anyway, I got a big kick out of asking you that. So see, we learned some things here today. Well, Coach. Good luck. I would also say that to my coworkers, Beth and Max, Kit Kat is a bottom low tier candy on the power ranking scale. Chip is a fan.
As the kids would say, it's mid.
And
there
you go.
Yeah,
it is mid.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think that the little wafer in between is just a giant waste. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't add any crispness. It doesn't. There's no sustenance involved.
It's time to go, people.
Yeah, that's right.
It's time to go.
That's right. All right. We will talk to you, everybody, next week after the Coronado game, and appreciate everybody for tuning in. For Colton Coons, for Chris Level, for Chip Darden. We'll talk to you next time.